Can you believe that simple electrically connected domino blocks can be turned into a homemade antenna? Sounds a bit crazy at first, I know. But sometimes the most interesting DIY ideas start exactly like that. So go ahead and prepare two 2x4 electric connector domino blocks, set them on the table, and let's start building this together step by step. Step 1. Start by preparing 14 small metal rivets. These will act as the signal receiving elements for our homemade antenna. Think of them as the ears of the device. Simple parts, but they play a very important role. Since we have a total of 14 rivets, we'll divide them evenly. 7 rivets will be mounted on one electric connector domino block, and the remaining 7 on the other block. This balanced layout helps the antenna receive signals more evenly and keeps the whole setup neat and easy to work with before we move on to the next step. Step 2. Here I have a rectangular wooden board that's just the right size to serve as the base for our antenna. It will hold everything in place and keep the structure stable as we build. And next, I'll secure this electric connector domino block onto the surface of the wooden board, making sure it's firmly attached. I recommend using hot glue to secure the parts together, because it's quick to apply, holds firmly once cooled, and can still be removed later if you need to make adjustments. After securely fixing the 2 electric connector domino blocks onto the surface of the wooden board, I'll use a piece of copper wire core to connect the signal receiving elements together, forming a more continuous structure for transmitting and carrying the signal. Here I have a male electrical plug. It will serve as the connection between our homemade antenna and the signal cable that carries the signal to the TV. To keep everything looking neat and organized, I'll fix this male electrical plug onto the surface of the wooden board. Of course, we can't skip adding another signal transmission part. That's why the female connector is absolutely essential, helping complete the connection and ensure the signal can be transferred smoothly to the TV. I'm sure not many people here know what this item actually is. It's called a coaxial cable. This type of cable is commonly used to transmit signal with high stability, helping reduce interference and keep the picture and sound clear. In DIY antenna projects like this one, coaxial cable plays a key role in carrying the signal from the antenna to the TV in a clean and reliable way. And don't forget to use electrical insulating tape to cover any exposed electrical points. In the US, there have been real incidents, for example in Florida, where homeowners were shocked while doing simple DIY electrical work because a small section of wire was left uncovered. What seemed like a minor detail turned into a painful and dangerous accident. A quick wrap of insulation tape can make a very real difference in safety. This remaining wire end needs to be connected in a different way, so this is the part where everyone should slow down and pay close attention. A small mistake here can affect the signal quality, or worse, cause connection issues later on. To make it easier to connect everything to the TV, I'll add a straight F connector to this remaining end, along with a 90-degree F connector. The straight connector helps create a solid, stable connection, while the 90-degree connector is especially useful when space behind the TV is limited. Alright, that wraps everything up nicely. Now comes the most interesting part, taking it out into the real world to test it and see how this homemade antenna actually performs in everyday conditions. Before connecting the antenna to the TV, I'll first do a quick check so everyone can clearly see that the TV is currently showing no signal at all. This step is important because it gives us a clear baseline. After confirming that, I'll then connect the antenna so we can easily see the difference and judge the real result. In just a few seconds, the TV screen is already showing broadcast channels. The result looks very promising, but to see whether the signal stays stable over time, we'll keep watching it for a bit longer. After waiting for a while, the signal is still stable and no issues have appeared so far. Because of that, I've decided to unplug the connection and plug it back in again just to see how it reacts. And that brings us to the end of this little DIY experiment. From a few simple parts to a working homemade antenna, the result turned out better than expected. It's a good reminder that sometimes you don't need expensive gear, just a bit of curiosity and the courage to try. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this project, stick around, there are plenty more hands-on ideas coming.